to the channel. Welcome to my garage and welcome to Project Numbnuts. Today's mission is fitting the axles. I need to get the chassis rolling so I can get it cleaned off and get it painted. I've gone over it because obviously it's a galvanised chassis. I've gone over it with the modern T-wash, and now I need to wash that off again because it leaves like a chalky residue on there. I need to wash that off before I can paint it. But I thought I'd have a look at this cylinder head. This is the head off the engine that came with it. I don't know why I didn't register this with me before. It's a 1982 Land Rover, so it's not the original engine for it because it's a free bearing engine. But I can't get hold of a 5 bearing for a lot of money, not for a decent price. Well, I can for money, but not for a price that I'm willing to pay. So we'll stick with 3 bearing. But yeah, the engine is scrap, the original engine, and I'll if you watched the earlier videos, you'll see the hotspots, 2 hotspots has dropped, and it's compressed the cast iron. It's been batting about in there so long. How the previous owner, whoever was driving it, did not notice, because it must have been making one hell of a noise. No doubt smoking its nuts off, because it wouldn't have been injecting the fuel in properly. The fuel wouldn't have been atomising properly. So yeah, there must have been a numbnuts to not realise, so that's why I called it Project Numbnuts. Yeah, I'll finish my cup of tea because that's going cold, and I'll show you what I think's happened with this cylinder head. Right, this the engine's buried in the corner there now, so I'll not dig it out. I'll try and put a photo in. But this head, I don't know if you can see, I don't know if it's going to come up on the camera. See if I can find a bit where you can see it. You can see fine little lines where it's been machined. The head has been skimmed at some point. And what's happened, it's been skimmed with the hot spots in place. You can just see the little lines on the hot spots. There you go. Yeah, it's been skimmed with the hot spots in place, and then they've come loose. The skimming process or whatever, it's come loose. They've not stayed in, and that's why it's dropped. But then it's been batting about inside the cylinder. You can see where it's that should be square, have a nice square edge like that, where it's all rounded off. But these can be repaired. I've got a cylinder head, oh, it's on a shelf somewhere, where it's had the new seats all put in and everything. So they can be repaired, but the cost of it and the cost of a second-hand head, it don't weigh up. You may as well just get another head. But let's see, if I grab my screwdriver, 2 seconds. This is how loose the hot spots are. And that's pushed in as far as it'll go. I've hit that, tapped it with the hammer to try and get it in harder, but that's how loose the hot spots are. They just slot in. That one's solid. That one's not coming out in a hurry, I don't think, but 1 out of 3. Yeah, so it's just a word of caution. If you do have your head skimmed, check that the hot spots are staying in place and not just going to slot, not just going to fall out. The milling process, obviously, because that's just it's literally a friction fit, so it can move it about a little bit, and yeah, lead to total destruction. So just check, because this is quite, it's a bit crap really, because this engine, from what I can gather after taking it apart, had not long since been rebuilt. There was no wear on any valves, any valve stems. There was absolutely no play in anything whatsoever on the whole engine. so it had not long since had a rebuild, and I dare say the second it drove out, that's when the hotspots dropped and started rattling. And with the state of the engine, I think it's done a few thousand miles with that hotspot battering about inside there. But yeah, right, that's that done. I'll get us out there and see about getting these axles on. I've just slotted that. It's not fastened down or anything. I've just put it in place. I've got the U-bolts to put on, providing that I've ordered the right length U-bolts. It didn't occur to me at the time, but yeah, we'll get. We've got some new Bearmax springs over there. We'll get them on. Right, I'll get set up and get going. Right, let's get these fronts on. All I've done is just loosely bolted the springs up to the shackles. The key, a lot of people complain that their suspension's not lasting them a year. The suspension bushes, should I say, is not lasting them a year. But one thing that a lot of people do and causes the premature wear of the bushes is they'll bolt pull all the new bushes in, bolt everything up and tighten everything up whilst the suspension's dropped, while it's off the ground, while the wheels are off the ground. What you have to do is obviously bolt everything up, put everything together loose, and you need the full weight of the vehicle on the springs and on the bushes, and then tighten them up. And it tightens them up in their normal road use position, not in the drooped, unloaded position. Even if you get inside it, get on the front bumper, jump up and down, get it bouncing about a bit, get in the back and bounce it about a bit before you tighten them up. Your bushes should last a hell of a lot longer then. It's stressing because it tightens them in place where they are. So then obviously when you've got the load on and this shackle goes back, it twists the bush back. So you need to tighten the shackle in that position, not that position, if that makes any sense to you. It should, if you do that, your bushes will last a hell of a lot longer. Even if you're just using Britpart bushes, cheap bushes, you should get a few years and a fair few thousand miles out of them before you have any trouble. Yeah, that's the main cause for premature wear, and it's the same on a lot of cars. Whether you're doing wishbones or solid axle style leaf springs, bushes, as a rule, they need to be under load before you tighten them. But yeah, right. What I need to do now is roll that axle underneath and try and jack this up to get the bolt through there, if I can get my finger in the right place. We'll suspend it up in the air so the axle will just be sat on the springs. And yeah, I'll just bust my gut and drag that under there. Right, so yeah, axle's in place. This is the tricky bit now. Oh, it's tricky, it's heavy again. If you're doing a galvanised chassis, you might find I've got some new these what are they? Carson's bolts for the front. You might struggle getting them through. You might have to hone these holes out a little bit. That's not the right bolt for this car. Like this one, this is actually a new bolt. That's as far in as it'll go. I could probably force it the rest of the way out. These are the old original bolts. Will go through. So I'll stick them through. There we go. Now I need to try and get this spring up in the air. don't worry about what the axle's doing so much. Oops, try not to let it slide off the jack. If it slides off, just start again. There. Right. Go again. You can get the jack right into the middle, that helps. Line the hole up something like. Chicken's lining up on the other side. I don't want to just knock it through in case it catches the threads. I'd rather screw it through. I don't want to be taking back in the threads yet. There we go. And like I mentioned earlier, you don't want it tight yet, so just leave everything loose. That's it there now. Happy as Larry. Onto the other side. I've got to say I'm happy with this jack. It's a little bit high, the profile's a little bit high, but it's light and easy to manoeuvre around. Right, let's move you around so we can get some sort of shot on what I'm doing. I've no idea how any of this is coming out. Gearbox. You might find you have to knock these about a little bit. Clearances can be a bit tight on the galvanised chassis. Let it go. I'll tell you what does help, if you're not a complete tit, and do what I've just done. Knock this. Little plastic caps in there. Whose idea was that? No wonder it was tight. Yeah, watch out for them little buggers. Should just slide straight in now. See if that screwdriver will just move it. No. Get me a little bar. 2 seconds. Ooh. Right. Hey, you do get warts all over me when I'm doing these videos. Right, that's that. Hopefully. A little bit more on that side. Not too far now. No, that's it. That's better. I say wind it rather than hitting it. You don't want to take the threads off. Go. Lovely. And that's it really, it's a simple enough job. Leave that there for now. We'll just put that on finger tight. And down. Right. Next is the U-bolts. We'll get them on. Right, I'm trying to get you in a position so you can see what I'm doing. Right. Actually, there's that little locating dowel there, and there's one inside, a little hole inside. It's absolutely imperative that that dowel goes in that hole, and it might take a bit of jiggling about to get it there, and you'll think you've got it and then you haven't. But once it's on, you should not be able to wiggle that axle anywhere. So you'll know when it goes in. Right, don't know if I mentioned it earlier, there's two different sizes of these, big ones at the front. They go underneath. Before I do, double check I'm not forgetting anything. Borrow that one off of there for now. U-bolt's just knocked over the top of the axle, just tap down slightly. And might take a bit of coaxing into the holes. These you do tighten up fully. Like the bushes. If it's metal on metal, you're usually alright, just tighten it up. Oh, let that nut go there. There we go. Where's that hammer? Right. Yeah, tighten them nuts up. Same on the other side, job done. That's all that, but rolling now, the chassis is all together. The back, I didn't bother filming it, it's basically same as doing the front. You've got 4 U-bolts that bolt on. I need to order a couple of longer bolts, U-bolts, for the back. I've just put them old ones on there temporary for now. One thing to think about though is this plate on the bottom for mounting the shock. You need to make sure it's flat. If you look at that one, I don't know if you see it on camera, it's at a bit of an angle. It's yeah, so it wants this side undoing, loosening, and that side tightening up, which I'll do when the new bolts come. Yeah, and I've put it up on the ramps just to make it a bit easier for getting under when fitting brake lines and stuff. The axle will be stripped down, all new bearings, all that lot. I've got to drain all the oil out. I just needed to get it rolling so I could get it washed down, ready for paint. it'd take a day with this cold weather. It'll take a day or two for it to dry off. Now it's been washed. I'll go around it with some panel wipe as well. But yeah, and what else have I done? Gearbox is on the stand. That's ready for cleaning down. I've been having a go at that. The dirt's baked on. It's unbelievable. It will not come off. Well, it will, but I'm literally having to scrape it. I've covered it in parts cleaner. I've jet washed it 3 times. But yeah, I'll get cleaning that. So, right. Yeah, that pretty much concludes getting the chassis rolling. Any questions or anything like that? Any suggestions, should I say? Let us know. Let us know. If anybody's stuck on anything, give us a shout. I'll help out where I can. Yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can follow us on Instagram. I do bits on there, not a lot. At CSM_retro_restorations. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.